This is another episode of Lost in the Midlands, Wright Brennan, and I'm really excited to be here with a couple special guests today. I've been looking forward to this one for a while. I'm here with Isabel Drucker of Insurance Solutions by Isabel. Thank you so much for coming on. And Robert LeHeup with Bullets and Bandaids. And Isabel is a USC graduate and a business owner, so special connection there. You focus on holistic view of assisting your clients' health insurance needs. You've lived in the area for a long time. You have an amazing family. And you are also a client of my roofing business. So
Yep.
We appreciate the business there. And you have also helped some people I know with their insurance needs. So yeah, that's awesome. And Robert is a veteran. And Isabel, I appreciate you introducing me to Robert and coming on. I've wanted you to come on for a while. You support so many awesome organizations and made this connection here, so very special. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about how you guys kind of connected?
Mutual friends, I think.
Yep, we connected through mutual friends, and then I found out what Robert was doing with his organization, Bullets and Bandaids, and I wanted to express that and put that out into the community. I think it's really important we support our local organizations, and that he'll tell you what he does, but as a civilian, we bridge the gap between civilians and military and ex-military so that we can support them in the healing process.
And knowing Isabel previously, her genuine drive and altruistic nature, I guess, made it easy for me to, trust in her opinions and the directions that she's, brought us. And I'm just so incredibly grateful. That's,
Of course.
yeah.
Well, Isabel, I know you have the heart of a giver. We're also in a network called BNI, where Givers Gain is one of the fundamentals. Can you tell us, though, a little bit about your journey into the insurance world?
Sure. So I was a young mother when I was 20. I had my first son, and I had to rely on social programs a lot. That being said, Medicaid was one of them, and Medicaid's a insurance program for low-income individuals. I had to learn how to navigate that, and then I also had to learn how it worked. And so that kind of led me also into my social work degree. I learned a lot about vulnerable populations and health disparities within that. And in addition to that, when my parents were chronically ill, I saw the patient, client, doctor relationship, and then how insurance feeds into that. And as an insurance agent, I focus on educating, empowering, and engaging with my clients. And in addition to that, focusing holistically on what the client's needs are. So that's your medical, your financial situation, because if you have to pay $400 for a medication and you're on a fixed income, you might need some support elsewhere. So if I need to connect my clients with a resource like a food bank, I do that. So, yeah.
Well, that's awesome. It sounds like you put a personal touch on your business. And what a tough business that is. You got to have a big heart to be able to help people in that context. So can you tell us a little bit about your focus on veterans? I understand you got some cool programs that can help.
Right. So my focus on veterans, I wanted to do that because of my lack of knowledge about veterans. I have no prior military experience. I have a couple of vets in my family, but I don't know that they were engaged in war. And I wanted to focus on veterans because there are lots of programs in the insurance industry that can help a veteran. And so I started reaching out to all veteran organizations, and that's how Robert and I kind of connected on Bullets and Bandaids.
Beautiful. And some of the ones that I've spoken to, you're familiar with, so you're definitely part of that community. That's really exciting. And your focus on helping nonprofits, like what kind of has geared you into that direction?
Well, my love for community has geared me in that direction. I think it's really, really important as a society and a community we focus on nonprofits and helping them gain awareness, in addition, helping them with funding, especially right now, especially after COVID, and how disparaging it can probably be for a nonprofit to continue on during such a hard time, because everybody is having such a hard time. So I think it's, as a community, we need to focus on it, and I want to be a leader in that. So, yeah.
Well, you've got an awesome perspective with, your studies, your previous work. So you really do know that struggle. So that's awesome that you are making that move. And to switch gears a little bit, Robert, can you tell us a little bit about, your organization and how it operates, some of those cool pieces?
Sure. So it's actually kind of complicated once we spread out to all of the different things in which we're trying to affect change. But the basic aspect of it is we act as a veteran-centric art therapy program that's whose intention is to blur the line between veteran and civilian by having them work cooperatively in an art project that travels to several different cities.
Yeah.
By doing so, by having the veteran tell his story, he or she is able to basically exercise a little bit of those demons, and allows other people who have been through the same to know that they're not alone. But also, veterans can be hard to approach, and especially if you're an artist, there's a pretty big gap between those two, a civilian artist. So if you put those together, and sometimes having civilian writers as well, by underscoring our common human journey, yeah. We show that support is all over, and it helps. Hopefully, via that support, it'll help tamp down on domestic violence, drug abuse, and suicidal ideation in ways that aren't measurable, while also having measurable outcomes via the shows that we provide.
Well, that's powerful. That's really awesome.
I'm glad you think so.
And yeah, that's pretty exciting that you're part of the art community. You've been a veteran. Can you tell us kind of how it started, like how it got off the ground?
Sure. So I had a friend of mine that was working at a nonprofit back in 2012. By that time, I had already been a part of several different art shows, and figured this was going to be a good way for me to, combine two things in which I've been inundated, art and, all things veteran. And so, and knowing that there is an uncomfortable gap caused by, social stigmas being placed upon us, to where we are expected to fit into this one, piece of the puzzle rather than us living our lives, has caused a great deal of damage. And these other people who aren't veterans are hesitant to even begin that conversation. And to me, that line was never there in the first place, that we were all just wearing hats that we had chosen to wear. And so it just seemed to be the next obvious step, I guess, at least the only way that I knew how to personally affect any sort of positivity.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm like Isabel. I wasn't a veteran, so I mean, it's really interesting to see you make that move and help people on our side, be able to, like you said, kind of blend that line.
Well, actually, I think one of the cool aspects of this is that we do cover veteran stories, but it's not just war veterans. Throughout the last few shows that we've done, we've covered shame and resignation and pride in what it is that they've done in combat. But we've also covered, sexual abuse, LGBTQ issues. We have somebody in the next show that was actually transitioning while they were in, any sort of social dynamic that might need to be remarked upon is welcome. A Gold Star family. If you have a parent that was in that fundamentally changed who it is that you are, then you might have a story for Bullets and Bandaids, because it is all of us in this together, which is a strange thing for me to have to keep, reinforcing to the world, because it seems to be an obvious thing. But yeah, like if a veteran is an artist, he can be an artist for another person's story if they want, and yeah, so we are trying to cover as much as possible.
That's awesome. You help a lot of people. It's a broad. And Isabel, all the veterans, a lot of artists. That's awesome. So, as far as like recent shows, can you give a couple examples of maybe where y'all have had a show, and maybe what types of cool stuff was there?
Yeah, sure.
So peek.
Yeah, so just as a heads up, you can check out the last 2 shows that we did on the Bullets and Bandaids website,
Sweet.
which is bulletsandbandaids.org. If you go to the blog page, you have access to the shows. Because we also do, we print out a booklet that has the stories juxtaposed to the artwork that was based off of them, as well as the artist statements in the back.
Yeah.
So all of that is also covered. But the last show that we did, we also try to run the gamut on artistic media.
Yeah.
So we had pointillism, realism with colored pencils, photography, sculpture. We had a lady that used to do restorations that, like, right before she did her piece with us, restored a Monet. We tried to get artists that have a certain capacity in order to reinforce and or at least prevent the undermining of the dignity that we're trying to bring to everybody that's involved.
Oh wow. Are a lot of these people local, or are any of them from Columbia? Or
well, yes. So we operate. Typically, it's a traveling show. So it was Columbia, and I lived in Spartanburg for a little bit, so we did that. And this coming one is going to be Columbia, Greenville, Spartanburg, Charlotte, and Asheville. We're trying to branch out, but the idea being that on a micro level, those people who are working in tandem, because it's like a little show for them. We get local artists from a city, local writers from a city, and local artists from the same city to have their own portion of it. And we do that in several different cities, then combine them all and have that, so that those people know that they're not alone, not simply on an immediate sense, but on a macro sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
I saw a post that you made, Isabel, and I think it had some of the content from a recent show on your Facebook. So I didn't know if, there was some other stuff out there. Definitely something that, I'd love to share on my own pages. So very cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. We actually, we're going to be adding voiceovers to the pictures and then posting them just to give like a taste of what it's going to, what it's going to be in the future. So we'll definitely be posting that.
Okay.
And thank you for, thinking of it.
Yeah,
sincerely.
No, that sounds really awesome. Back to you, Isabel. Sorry to switch gears, but I did not ask you kind of how people can find you, because I know there's one place real special on Facebook that you post a lot of cool content. But yeah, is that a good means of finding you? And
Yep, you can find me on Facebook, Insurance Solutions by Isabel, or you can call me at 803-413-8181. In addition, you can email me, medicarebyisabel@gmail.com. And those are the great ways to call, text, email, Facebook.
With open enrollment coming, I know you've probably got a lot on your plate. It's pretty awesome that you can take the time to come and sit with us and talk. And you post so much cool stuff on your Facebook. I'm going to have to confess real quick. A lot of my inspiration comes from what Isabel is doing on her Facebook page and all the cool nonprofits that you support. So that's beautiful. Do you have any message for people since open enrollment is coming up? Just something people can keep in mind with that on the horizon?
Right. So individual open enrollment is November 1st through December 15th, and that's for folks under 65 who do not have Medicare. So I advise you to give me a call. We can review your plan. In addition, if you are on Medicare, definitely call me. Medicare plans change every year. Every single plan is different and provides different benefits for somebody. So always call an agent like myself to review a plan. And that starts October 15th through December 7th. So yeah, I appreciate the shout out.
Absolutely. And gosh, I definitely don't want to be the one responsible for reviewing my own plan and having to navigate that. So that's excellent. Robert, anybody who wanted to, get involved, what can they do to kind of support what you guys are?
Well, there's several different potentials. We definitely need volunteers for different services. So if you wanted to do contact at bulletsandbandaids.org or Robert at bulletsandbandaids.org, it'll come directly to me. On the website, there's a place where you can sign up to be a part, depending on what it is that you would care to do. If you want to be an artist, a writer, or a veteran, and I mean, we definitely need veterans here in Columbia.
Oh.
We've already locked in Asheville and Charlotte, and we're working on Spartanburg as well. But yeah, if there's, we could definitely use more people in Columbia to be a part of it. This year, it's actually going to be an online show.
Yeah.
But we're still going to have the same methods, like this. This city is up, and then this city is up, and then this, and then eventually conglomerated. Here's the show. That's another thing. So the veterans that are involved get a high-resolution G-clay print on canvas of one of the selected pieces that they want.
Oh, cool.
Because not everybody wants their own. Not everybody wants to be reminded of that. The artists get X amount from the auction off sale of the work. Typically, the writers would get X amount too. I don't think we're going to be doing writers this time because we have no means of paying them. But yeah. So if anybody is interested in volunteering for any of that, we have so much media stuff that we could potentially be using that's just kind of waiting in the wings.
Hear, hear. Well, when is that remote show? Maybe you already brought that up. I forgot.
No, I didn't. So I think we are going to start dropping hints of some of the shows in mid to late October.
Okay.
We're probably going to begin showing them in mid-November. So it would be like one city for 2 weeks, then another city, and then another city. And then probably at the beginning of February is when we would throw all of them together, just so that we have time to do the voiceovers for each of them, to do the high-resolution photography for all of them, and make sure that we put our best foot forward, so that when the time comes for us to auction off this work, it will be as efficient and poignant, again, dignified for everybody involved as we can possibly make it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Very exciting stuff is coming up for both you guys. The show and open enrollment.
Absolutely.
So
Right.
there's a lot of need out there. You guys are doing great stuff in the community, and I encourage anybody who is interested in working with these two. I can personally tell you it's awesome being around them, and would highly recommend. Is there any message that Robert you would like to leave with anybody out there?
Well, I think that kicking and screaming. We are all in this together, regardless. If you wanted to be a part of this, we do our best to make sure that it's worth it. But it is worth it just to participate. And we don't just need war veterans. Having said that, coming home or getting out of service doesn't mean that your service ends.
Yeah.
So by being a participant in this, you can continue serving your community to the best of your ability, and not balk at the idea of the validity of sacrifice.
That's a powerful message.
Very powerful.
Awesome.
Cool.
And Isabel, do you have any message for any of the viewers of Lost in the Midlands? Any final thoughts?
I would really like to emphasize to support this local nonprofit, Bullets and Bandaids. I think it is really powerful. I think that if there's a way that I would also like to leave with them, that they could donate to Bullets and Bandaids, that would be great. And I just think it's such a powerful message that we as a community should embrace. And please get in contact with them to donate. If you're a veteran and want to share your story, come forward. And I'm really touched by what Robert does and his backstory and how he got here. So I appreciate you.
Back at you. No doubt.
Well, that being said, as far as a donation, how would somebody who's interested in donating, would be an appropriate means to reach out?
Well, we have a donation button on the website. You can also, if you want to put up a donation aspect on Facebook, where it's set up there, and with Amazon Smile, if you'd like to add that, so we're trying to cover as many bases as possible, just to be on firm footing. So yeah, I totally forgot about donations. I'm just so caught up in getting the show done. I do and I hate to do this, but just to offer up a little bit more, we've covered all the engagements from World War II up to now, including Sierra Leone, Syria, and Guantanamo Bay.
Oh wow!
And we've had people from privates all the way up to 2-star generals that were part of it. And we are continuing to try to push boundaries in regard to artistic media, including but not limited to potentially using virtual reality. Once we have some sort of means of making people comfortable with putting on an Oculus Quest or something like that.
I'll try it.
I mean? I would try it too.
Right, but we'd have to hose it down every time or something like that.
Yeah,
pressure cooker or something. But yeah, the point being that we are also trying to push boundaries in the same way that our options explode once we realize we're all in this together. The art also has an infinite capacity to express.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate your service.
Thank you.
And Isabel, thank you so much for introducing me, coming on, doing an awesome job, and all you do as well. And yeah, thanks for listening in to another episode with some great people here in the Midlands.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. This is great.
Thank you.